interesting because
What did the rest of the team say, Enrique, mate?
I guess
Well,
he's
they
checked
weren't
call
very
bet on the
Jesus.
river,
They
but
weren't very happy.
how much should Tyler
weren't
bet to
mental.
get called on the river?
No, I like Ben.
I think he'll put
Yeah,
about
lovely
15
job.
in there or
He's not
something.
scared to make a move.
11,000.
Well, that's definitely getting called.
Yeah.
He had trouble after that because they weren't very happy.
I mean, he can't
Well,
know
he was
what
supposed to
Tyler.
be a-
Sorry, what
So we'll see him
O'Reilly's
back
got,
next
but
I
the ace is
He
the
was
only
supposed to
real
be the safe
major
pair of
scare
hands
card
at the
there.
start,
Yeah.
And suddenly, you know, he's done like 80% of the rest
I
of the
don't
team's
think
chips
for a
with
minute
10
that
4.
O'Reilly put Tyler on 5-8.
Nice hit.
And everyone at the table just absorbs that. Okay, now we know what range of hands you're going to be playing.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear, Robin.
That will have made him
Looks like you
feel
might
great.
be
That
man
will
of
do
the
him
match
a
after
big favour moving forward.
I'm joined by someone with a unique point of view, Neil Channing, because he was there, of course, Neil. Now, I mean, looking back at this particular hand, you had a bird's eye glimpse of it.
Yeah, I remember this heat. We were all kind of fed up with Josh, really, to be honest. The other players, he's chirping away. He's only 20, you know, we have to hear about how great he is every 5 minutes. I think every other person on the table was desperately hoping Scott would win this hand.
Is there a rule of thumb for playing that big pair when the overcard hits the board? Did Scott do this perfect?
Yeah, Scott's a good player, and I don't think the other players on the table really knew too much about Scott. I knew that he was a really good player, and I was quite wary of Scott. And yeah, Scott's quite happy to carry on with his pair of queens, even with the ace on the board. He's a little wary, obviously, that
He's
there's
checked
an
the
ace
turn.
there. Yeah, he's trying to keep the pot small, but I think he's basically checking to keep calling. He's pretty sure in his mind his queens are good, but he doesn't want to play an enormous pot. He just got really unlucky.
What were you thinking when the hands were turned over? Because you had a little bit of a smirk on your face.
I was just thinking, I felt sorry for Scott, and I was just thinking, oh God, we're going to have to listen to Josh telling us how great he is for the next 10 minutes. Was it very slow, yeah? Who else was in it?
Slow isn't the word. Could have watched it all we've been doing St George's Hospital, eh?
Pass. 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 Cool.
First time McCool v. Channing. Blind on blind.
No raise.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what plays out here if anybody connects. Oh,
Check.
Neil's taken the lead,
Check.
but won't be too excited about either the pair or the kicker that he's made.
One hallmark to Neil's game is he
8,000.
doesn't mind getting deep in pots and having tricky decisions on the turn and river. In fact, he looks forward to it. It's kind of like Roland DeWolf in that manner.
Yeah, and this is interesting, Jess. I mean, Mick's made a pot-sized bet and been called reasonably quickly by Neil here. It's very hard for Mick to follow this up.
8,000.
But he's going to do it.
15,000.
I like that bet.
Yeah.
I like
Cool.
that call
Wow.
even better.
Good call.
Wow, that's going to send a real message to Mick there.
Nice call, eh? 1-0 to Channing.
And those are the kind of pots that a guy like Channing can win that most players can't. Most players would have ended that on the flop or ended it on the turn, and Channing's picked up max value there, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you called it right, is that Neil's not afraid to get into difficult pots. A lot of people want it to be very clear-cut, and then Neil just thrives in that sort of environment.
Plenty more to come after the break. I'll bet if you blindfolded all 6 of these guys, they could tell you within 2,000 how many chips every other player has, and also every hand that's been played.
Oh yeah, it's all going in. That's part of their skill, is just absorbing this, soaking it up. so that when it comes to make these
Don't
tricky
wind 'em up
decisions,
on
they've got
my
so
feet.
much information at their disposal.
12,000
Sounds
total.
me keeping quiet.
It becomes like an
Plus.
instinct.
Yeah.
So Josh has been
You know,
quiet
I'm
for a while
emotional.
here,
I'll leave it
and
to you,
he's
Nick.
woken up with a real hand.
Emotional, these young kids can be about that.
Ah, Hazard's
Try
nil.
and
This
leave
could
me
be an
alone.
interesting clash. Probably the first big clash of hands we've seen.
It is, and Channing's
I'm
chosen
riding
just to
that
call here, which is
You're going to give me your chip.
a step in the right direction. An ace
Put them up for offer.
will present all sorts of tantalizing.
Before with ace queen.
Yeah, and there's
Oh,
26,
that's why I have-
26 in this pot already, so it's not going to be cheap to get involved with this if you want to see the turn without just checking it through.
I'll check.
Check.
I'll check. Try and
Check.
trap me on the phone shit.
Channing is,
I think yours was weaker.
I think. These guys are both a little bit uncertain. Could Channing win this with a bet? I wonder. He doesn't think Tyler's checking out of strength.
No, I mean, I think, but if Channing is going to try and bet Josh off the pot here, it's going to need to be quite considerable because he could still think that both of his cards are live if he hits the pair.
12,000.
And obviously he now has the
12,000.
draw. 12,000. That's not a small amount for Josh to get involved with just on the draw. He thinks he's got 10 outs.
Feels, I'm just not sure. It just feels like that check on the flop gave Channing a lot more information about Josh's hand than Josh has about Neil's. I mean,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Josh is really struggling here to put Neil on a specific hand.
Cool.
and with that call now, obviously it may stop Channing up. Tyler could well win this pot.
Yeah, I think as long as Channing doesn't connect at the end here, I mean, Channing really is going to have to come out with a lot of chips here because Tyler has just shown that he's prepared to make a big call. And that could be one of the hands, one of the cards he was going for was the heart. Maybe, Channing puts him on a pair and a draw and now he's hit the draw.
Basically, Channing has to bet here because he couldn't. I don't know if he could really stand it if
Check.
okay. A lot of pride at stake.
What's that
I
play?
wonder if that's a sign of, the fact that Neil went to his chips and went to look at them and then checked it. I think this is an opportunity for Josh, but does he really want to take the risk? He seems to have taken too long here. I just wonder what the thought process are that's taking this long. He's gone for it.
19.
19.
Now, the five of hearts did make a flush on the river. Could Tyler have a flush here? I mean,
This is very hard for Neil to call. It's very hard for Neil to see the value in this, I would think. Because in the same way it took guts for Tyler to make that move because of Channing's involvement in the hand, well, now it's reversed. Channing's thinking, well, Josh was clearly interested in this.
I'd love to know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't call to split it, can you?
I just think Neil's struggling to see this as a fantastic opportunity to make money.
I mean, if Neil's thinking about calling, doesn't he have to think about raising? Because obviously if he's putting Tyler on something like ace-queen, he doesn't want to call and see ace-king. Oh, you don't think he's going to do it, do you? He wouldn't raise him here, would he? Gosh, Tyler does look a little scared. He looks like he ate a meatball or something.
Or a tennis ball. I mean, Neil's more than capable
I
of
got
it, but
the
I
best of
just,
Neil Channing.
I think that Neil's
Yes.
decision-making process knows that was
I don't need to.
a very marginal
Because that would just
situation.
feed your ego even more. And that's the last thing we want to be doing.
Oh, he's very relieved. And he is going to chirp it up.
Gets on the verge.
Yeah, a little bit of needle just to make Neil wonder
Neil's
what
ego
that was
gets on
really
the
all
verge,
about.
and it's just like, it's just out of control.
And you get the feeling Josh is someone that's going to enjoy being chip leader.
Josh, wouldn't you
There's going to be a
get
bit of
him shit?
razzmatazz going on now.
Good hands don't normally work for me. It's all the bad hands.
I know that time you had that good aim.
Pass.
Yeah, it was with the Queens. Do you remember that? And
I
Nick
put
Slade knocked me out.
Trips down to you.
Pass.
Well, you don't-
Really,
you-
the
worst
best way
thing
to... Oh,
you
here
need to
comes
have in
Scott
your favour
O'Reilly.
is me. And you know it.
And
Raise to 9,000.
can't
toes.
begrudge him a spot of
Pass.
luck.